Welcome back to the Celtics Nation Rise recap. I'm Griffin Aldrich. Alongside me, we got McDonald, and your Boston Celtics have defeated the Atlanta Hawks with a final score of 109-102. Did I put that down right, Carl? You sure it wasn't 101? Oh yeah, it was 100.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right,
that's
I
fine.
messed up
When
the
you
ticker.
win, you get confused. I get confused too, man.
I messed up the ticker. We'll,
No,
we'll,
you're
we'll
good,
hold off
brother.
on a second. We'll hold off on a
Oh,
second.
the ticker. I didn't even realize. I thought you meant the.
Little blooper here, for
No,
CNR.
you're good, brother.
Oh, but Carl, another win and a huge win for the Celtics because that means, if I get it, if the Toronto Raptors lose to the New Orleans Pelicans tonight, the Boston Celtics have clinched a playoff spot. However, we are 50 seconds in the third quarter and Raptors up 88-75. So unless the Pelicans can pull off a masterclass, I think it's safe to say that we wait another night. And then you look for tomorrow's matchup against the 76ers and the Hornets. If the Hornets defeat the 76ers, the Celtics clinch a playoff spot. So that's kind of what we're looking like from there. So we'll keep you guys updated as we go. But Carl, what are your initial thoughts after this Celtics win? Because I tell you what, this Atlanta Hawks team has been phenomenal. After the departure of Trae Young, even like we were questioning that trade, and we get into that in a little bit. But what are your thoughts on the Celtics? Because the Atlanta Hawks have bumped themselves all the way up to fifth place, and they've been playing phenomenal basketball. And the Celtics still come away with the win. What are your thoughts, though?
No, absolutely. First off, another great win by the Boston Celtics, and I say great because you're following that up after beating the reigning champion OKC Thunder. You're also doing this without your best player at the moment in Jaylen Brown, who is resting with his own injury, which, by the way, wishing a speedy recovery. Um, Another thing is, you're going into this game and you're seeing again the Celtics playing as a collective unit, as a team, which, of course, when it comes to basketball, it is a team sport first. But seeing them playing in the way that they're playing always gets me excited. It always makes me happy to see them doing what they're supposed to be doing. Peyton Pritchard, somebody that we'll be talking about a little bit more later, deserves a lot of that credit, leading this team by example. And you could even argue Jason Tatum as well too. Yeah, his shots weren't falling in, but he's still productive for this team and still showing his leadership in more ways than one, from again the rebounding and just the overall effort he puts on, this team as he goes out there every night competing alongside these guys. So it's great to see the Boston Celtics picking up back-to-back wins at home against teams who could easily be a problem for them going into the postseason. You know, as you also alluded to, the Hawks, they definitely are, I would say, one of the greater surprises in the NBA as well, too. Again, coming off of that Trae Young trade, you pick up CJ McCollum, finally saying that name right, Corey Kispert, in that trade. And you also add Kaminga, and prior to that, Jalen Johnson, being the head honcho within the team, they absolutely deserve their credit, and I feel like deserve a lot more attention. That attention within the Eastern Conference race is mainly going to, the Pistons, of course, with them being the number one seed, the Celtics being one of the bigger surprises, arguably the biggest surprise in the Eastern Conference. Even the Charlotte Hornets are gaining more attention and traction compared to the Hawks. And I feel like the Hawks could easily be a dark horse coming out of the Eastern Conference with the team that they have. They are deep. They have some really good players and role players within this team. And I even said earlier in this season, they could actually make a run for the conference finals. I could definitely see them in that position. A lot of people may be like, oh, you're crazy and all that. But when it comes to the NBA, when it comes to sports in general, expecting unexpected, because a lot of crazier things have happened. And I wouldn't be surprised if you found the Pistons, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Cavs, one of those teams potentially having to do battle with the Hawks to see who gets out of their conference to do battle with a potential, matchup against the Spurs or the Nuggets or, of course, the OKC Thunder. Definitely the Hawks deserve their credit, and I feel like right now are the dark horse in the Eastern Conference. But back to the Celtics again. Great win from them. Obviously, there were some issues here and there too. The rebounding, the turnovers, some also things we will be talking about a little bit later too. But other than that, it's just great to see the Boston Celtics, coming away with this win and going back to back in wins.
Yeah, Carl, I completely agree with what you mean by the Hawks being a dark horse in there. I call me crazy. I don't know why this matches up well though. I feel like if they play the Knicks in the playoffs, I feel like I'm taking the Hawks in a series against the Knicks. Call me crazy, but I just this Hawks team just has so much grit, and it's a team where you look and they completely reshape their team. And when they did that, it's just 10 times better. I mean, you saw it. I thought the duo going into the season was really going to be Porzingis and Trey Young. That's the one I was banking on. But it's Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, and Nikhil Alexander Walker and CJ McCall. McCall. I call him
Folks
McCall.
will get you. They will
It happens. It happens. I was literally right about to
get
say
you.
Carl too. It happens to me too. But that's a proof though. It happens to me too. But ultimately, this Hawks team is a team that I don't even want to face. I feel a little more confident with them without Trey Young because Trey Young is one of those players that would always kill the Celtics. So that's my little one thing. But
And the next two.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know why. If I'm looking at a series between the Hawks and the Knicks, hot take, I'm taking the Hawks. I don't know why. I don't know why. But ultimately, great win for the Boston Celtics tonight. You saw Peyton Pritchard step up like you talked about. And um I think throughout the season, that's a thing that we need to talk about because I'm even going to go to CNR MVPs really quick as it loads. So it'll take a second. But like, if you look at this team as a whole, I think the second man has been Peyton Pritchard this year. Like, Derek White's had his moments. You've had guys that have their moments, and obviously Tatum's back now. But the real 1-2 punch has been Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard. I mean, look at you. You could give White a close third call, but Brown's had 16 CNR MVPs, and then Peyton Pritchard has had 8, maybe even 9 tonight. Who knows? But he's had a phenomenal year, and got to give him credit. Got to give him credit. But Carl, I'm gonna switch it over to you as we have the quarters. If you don't mind breaking those down for us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Griffin, for that. Yeah, as we're seeing right here, it's mainly in the red here with the Hawks essentially dominating throughout this game, specifically in that first half. As we see in the first quarter, they beat the Celtics, not by a whole lot, but still, are going over and winning in that, first quarter. Going on to the second quarter, it's pretty much a similar story where the Celtics are close, but really can't close it out against the Hawks team that are really just pushing and, as you describe it, are gritty and just grinding their way to what they believe could be an eventual win for them. We then get to the second half where we have the second quarter where the Celtics are turning it around and showing that they still have life in them. They still fighting with some type of purpose as they end the quarter with the most points, 32-22. And then we have another 22 point, type situation, but the Celtics winning the fourth quarter as they go over the Atlanta Hawks by only 2 points in there. And as you can see, they pretty much took the game from the middle of the third quarter up until the end. And there was a little bit in that second quarter too, but of course not by much. And as we see with the lead changes, or biggest leads here, 9 lead changes, and the biggest leads, the Hawks at 16 and the Celtics at 11. And again, this just speaks to the volumes of the type of team that the Hawks are, as you talked about, with your hot take with the Knicks. Yeah, generally speaking, that team could actually take the Knicks to 7 games and beat them too. The Knicks have, not been playing at their absolute best, and the Hawks are also playing with some sense of urgency similar to the Boston Celtics, but it feels a little bit different if, that makes sense. Definitely, you're looking at the Hawks and you're not wanting to play them at all whatsoever. And what we saw tonight and what we're seeing right now on this map is proof of that.
Yeah, and I almost want to credit this too. You see where that run starts. That's when Jason Tatum really got hot too. And the Celtics as a whole, they went on like a 12-something run, and that's where they really took off. But you look at that first half too, Carl. I have to say that 16-point lead after 4:05 in the first. It was like, oh, can the Celtics even come back for this? Is this the night that they could win? And the Celtics finally take over. But you see the stats tonight. The Celtics won in every single category except for turnovers, which you kind of look at the turnovers where the Hawks only had 4 turnovers, which is incredible. They were not turning over the ball whatsoever, but the Celtics had 15. But what really saved the Celtics and dug them out of this hole was the shooting percentage tonight. 46.9 compared to 39.1, and the rebound total, 52 compared to 35. So that's really what was the main purpose for the Boston Celtics tonight, but gotta credit the Hawks too. I mean, because four turnovers is incredible. They were playing good basketball and not turning the ball over, which is something we've been praising the Celtics for this year. But recently, I feel like got a little slacked off with it because the turnovers have been high. And again, a night where you have 15 and you look at the Hawks 4, this is a game where a lot of the times you don't see the Celtics win because of the difference in turnovers, but we had the benefit of the doubt. Hawks weren't shooting as well, and that's where the Celtics come alive. And again, credit to Peyton Pritchard for how hot he was tonight for shooting the ball. I mean, phenomenal night from him. But Carl, if you wanted to get into the Hawks score, because again, they had some guys that were blazing for them tonight. And honestly, I kind of said that big 3, and you kind of see it tonight.
Absolutely there. When you're talking about the Hawks and their highlights from tonight, Nickeil Alexander-Walker ends the game with 20 points, 5 assists, 2 steals on 46% in shooting. He's definitely been one of the more underrated players in the league and definitely one of the best players for the Hawks, especially as of recently. CJ McCollum getting you 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists on 40% in shooting there too. Again, very underrated, and I feel like deserves a lot more attention when you're talking about, some of the players in the NBA. Not necessarily at the level of a first, second, or even third team selection, but definitely a player who can get it done. Probably one of the best role players in the NBA that goes unnoticed because there's others, before him. And then you have Jalen Johnson giving you 29 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, a block on 43% in shooting. Near triple-double right there, and pretty much could average a triple-double in his sleep with the way he's been playing recently. Not before and after, the Trae Young trade as well, too. That just speaks to the type of player that Johnson is there. And then everybody else pretty much in single digits there. Dyson Daniels, 6 points and 6 rebounds. Okongwu, near double-double of 8 points and 9 rebounds. Kuminga, who's definitely been one of their best players, too, only 3 points tonight. And if I'm not mistaken, those only came from foul shots. He was 0% in shooting there. Riche, 6 points, 50% in shooting, and anybody else, who played tonight was in the single digits, and only your best players were Johnson, Alexander Walker, and McCollum.
Wow. So really, those 3 only carried the Hawks tonight. You think if they have a good night from anyone else, Celtics might lose this game. You think at least. But again, our best player was out, Jaylen Brown. So got to give that some credit too. But score watching really quick, 105 Raptors, 84 to the Pelicans. So fourth quarter, 7:26 left. I kind of looks like game over. It looks like we're going to have to wait till tomorrow to see if the Celtics do indeed clinch. But I'll keep you guys updated as well as we go. I'm sure we'll probably be done before the game's over. I gotta say, those games last forever. Like 7 minutes in the NBA is what, geez, dinosaur age in real life. Especially end of the game. The end of the game can last forever, Carl. I swear.
It really can.
Oh yeah, like, geez, like a minute is like probably like 10 minutes real time, especially if it's close.
No, seriously. I remember I was watching a Celtics game. They were against the Dallas Mavericks. Dirk was still playing. Paul Pierce, KG, Ray Allen, even Shaq, who was on the Celtics. And I had to go to sleep. It was a school night, and it was so close. I think that game went into OT. To this day, I don't know who won that game. A random game in 2011. I never got to know.
I I used to remember that 2018 when the Red Sox won the World Series. We're getting off track. I'll get us back on track after, but when that game went into extra innings, I finally got to stay up for it. But then when they won the World Series, I was like, oh, they were like, oh, you gotta go to bed, and I was like, no, I want to watch this. Come on, man. Especially the West Coast game. Whew, those are 2018, man. Shout out 2018 when the Red Sox won the World Series. Go check out Chasing the Monster. This is the link if you guys want Red Sox content. And we gotta get some WWE content from you, Carl. Let's go check out the Cage Express. That's where your link is right there. Check out Cage Express on TikTok. Gotta get our what do you call it? Those plugs in there.
That's right.
But for the Boston Celtics tonight, again, you mentioned Jaylen Brown was out. I feel like this injury was kind of load management, kind of got a rest before we have some back-to-back games and some tough games coming up. And Jaylen Brown's going to want to play for that one in Atlanta, playing for his hometown. Vucevic obviously out, Max Shulga DNP, Tanji DNP, Mari DNP, Harper DNP, and Bassie DNP. Whew. Heavy DNP list again tonight, Carl. But for the Celtics, Ugo's minutes went down tonight. 7 minutes, 3 points, 2 rebounds, but shot 100%. Had a positive plus 10 in the plus minus category. Baylor Shireman, not as productive as a night. The other night he was blazing, but tonight kind of had a slow night for him, but really good on the rebounding side. Played 28 minutes, had 3 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 33.3. Luka Garza, who I think we could even give him a nod for not CNR MVP, but give him a round of applause. He had a good night. Tonight in 15 minutes, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 80%, was phenomenal tonight, I thought. Jordan Walsh, who, let's go, Carl. Got to see him get some minutes. Finally. Jaylen Brown, Jordan Walsh gets minutes. And we talked about this on episode 93 yesterday, so go check that out after. It's because Jason Tatum's back. Let's face it. But tonight, 5 points, 3 rebounds, assists, 3 blocks, and great blocks, and shot 66.7% from the field goal. David would have a field day if he was here for that one. Derek White, though, for the Celtics, in 34 minutes, had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and shot 23.1%. Rough shooting night for him, but overall, I thought solid game other than his shooting tonight. Neemias Queta had a great night with 11 rebounds, 5 points, and a block, shot 100% from the field goal. Sam Hauser, who I think had a very underrated performance tonight, too, had 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and shot 57.1% from the field goal. Good night from Sam Hauser, I have to say. But next up for the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, who just came off of a CNR MVP last game, and tonight has a phenomenal game when Jaylen Brown is not here for the Boston Celtics with 26 points, 5 assists, 12 rebounds, and shot 33.3% from the field goal. You mentioned it, Carl. Shooting wasn't the best, but still able to do it in other categories, and ended the game with 26 points and was really phenomenal in that later half for the Boston Celtics and just starting out. But ultimately, the guy that I think had his fingerprints all over this game was Peyton Pritchard, who had 36 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And again, Jason Tatum had a 1 plus minus, but Peyton Pritchard was plus 26 in the plus minus category. I mean, when he was in, the Boston Celtics were truly winning and shot 56.5% from the field goal. Phenomenal game from Peyton Pritchard. And I think it's safe to say, Carl, that we don't have to worry about him anymore. He kind of shook off all that rust, and hopefully he could stay this way for playoffs, because I really want to see Peyton Pritchard blazing in the playoffs. But Carl, who do you got for CNR MVP tonight? Because again, 2 options. You can go either or. But there were 2 great games tonight. Who do you got?
Personally, I'd say it's pretty obvious for me. I'm going to go with Peyton Pritchard. This is a night where we needed absolutely everybody to step up, regardless of what they were dealing with and whoever was stepping onto that court. Simply because Jaylen Brown is sitting out, and again, you're going up against a Hawks team that is playing as if it's their last game. Again, like the Boston Celtics have been playing throughout this entire season. To see Peyton Pritchard playing in the way that he has been playing, and especially in a time in his career where there are times where he's playing like this and other times where he's not really getting it going. It's very refreshing to see. And this is somebody where, yeah, he can be inconsistent and yeah, he could, have his flaws there. But we always have the belief that Peyton Pritchard is going to find some way and somehow to be productive, whether he's leading this team or not. And tonight, he led this team. This is one of the best examples of Peyton Pritchard playing out of his mind, locking in, what they say nowadays, being in his flow state. We saw it against the Lakers. We saw it against the Cavaliers. He's that one guy you really need to put in these games to ensure a positive outcome for the Boston Celtics. This is a guy that I feel like is going to be with us forever just because of that alone. He's always there. He's always attentive, and he always wants to. I don't know. He always wants to be that guy who really wants to just elevate his game and be the best that he can because he knows he can be the absolute best. So for tonight's CNR MVP, I am taking Peyton Pritchard because of this masterclass performance.
Carl, I'm gonna sound like a mockingbird because I'm going Peyton Pritchard tonight too. I mean, tonight you nailed it. You need someone to step up in the absence of Jaylen Brown, and Peyton Pritchard did that and some. Tonight he was phenomenal, and with this Hawks team, you can't slouch off. And without Pritchard tonight, Celtics don't win this game. I mean, safe to say, you see how close it was. Peyton Pritchard took this game over and had his fingerprints written all over it. And he's deserving of it. Ninth CNR MVP, Carl, for Peyton Pritchard. He's been phenomenal this season. And I want to ask you a question. Do you think he gets into double digits this year? Do you think he gets one more before the season ends?
Honestly, I could see it simply because we do have for the last 3 seasons now where he's the one who's essentially leading the team when the main players are not playing. Funny enough, there could probably be a situation where they have him rest before the playoffs with how he's been playing this season. Again, coming off of the Sixth Man of the Year award and, starting for a huge chunk of the games for this season. So definitely I could see him getting to 11 just because he's wearing the number 11. Kind of be funny to see that. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're really going to see him rest the last couple of games of the season for sure. Again, I think the reason right there is if he was still struggling, you might see him play a little bit more, but he's been blazing for the Celtics as of recently. And you see tonight almost 40 points for Pritchard. So I don't know, Carl. You're right. That's a hot take. So your vote is 11. I don't know why I think he stays at 9. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm being a hater, aren't I? I'm being a hater. But
I get it.
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like who knows though? Who knows? Because he could still. There might be a chance he gets more reps too before playoffs, so he might very well get 11. As David would like to say, 11 or whatever he does. No, I think it's this. He goes like this or something. Gotta love it. Gotta love David. Shout out David. I know every time he's not on here, we give him so much credit when credit's due. Like we'll look at the 6, 7 and go, ooh. But Carl, we're getting to the time for final thoughts tonight. And again, still no win, but looks like the Raptors are gonna win, so we're gonna have to wait another day for that as they're up 116-95 with 2:50 left. So gonna probably have to wait another day. But final thoughts, Carl, before we close out.
Yeah, once again, great win from the Celtics. Only thing we really need to polish up on is the turnovers, and again, very soon because postseason is ramping up. We got to get there soon, and we really have to rally up our troops and have everybody ready for that portion of the season. Of course, it's not here yet. Have plenty of time to prepare, not, overdo it. Your next game you have against the Charlotte Hornets, so you have to set an example and really go ahead and get revenge on them too after what happened. There are people saying they're the reason why Jason Tatum came back in March, which is kind of funny, but at the same time, can't take that disrespect. So you gotta figure out some way and somehow to beat that team because they are hot. They just beat the Knicks, which is saying something. They're beating all these teams who are great or projected to be great this season. So definitely focus on that game and focus on picking at that win. And once again, you're going to have the Hawks again in the future too. Of course, that's something not to worry about at that moment because you have the Hornets game. And yeah, just prepare and continue to have us believe in Boston Celtics basketball forever.
You're right, Carl. Believe in green. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Yeah, 103 to 114 yesterday. Ooh, that helps us out. I love to see that. Yeah, I agree. Hawks is one that you definitely need to go after. You need to have a statement win. Charles Lee over there is coaching a great group of guys, and finally a good season from LaMelo, and you have that extra scoring too from Con Knipple. So they're no joke. That's one you totally got to get after. And for the Celtics, great win tonight. I mean, because you look at the Hawks, I looked at the Hawks. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a tough game. And you look, Celtics just beat OKC. It's like the Knicks are downward in a downward slope, and the Celtics are finally going. We're cruising up there. So gotta love it. Gotta love it, Carl.
Which is ironic too, because the Knicks had a better schedule than us. Well, easier schedule than us. So
yeah, it's like the Knicks should be crushing it right now, and it's like we just beat OKC. We came off a win now against the Hawks. Got to keep it going though. Got to keep it going. Got to keep the foot on the gas pedal. Got to keep getting these wins. And another thing is we're one win off from 50 wins. So just saying, Carl. Whew, Celtics are killing it. Celtics are killing it. But with that being said, that's going to do it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications to be notified every time we upload. Come join us on Sunday as we will bring you more Celtics basketball and recap that game for you guys. But we will see you guys with the next one. Peace, you guys.
Later.